16, 17, picking up serious cases in 2010 in juvenile court. Now, you would like to think that a mother and father would get involved and say, wow, he's getting in trouble at school. He's got serious sex abuse allegations that resulted in adjudications of delinquency. Okay. And then he got the criminal trespass in 2011. Where are the parents? Let's get the parents involved. Let's get the dad. Dad, where are you, mom? Hey, wake up. Right? How about the theft case in 2014? Adjudicated delinquent for that. Criminal trespass 2011. Adjudicated delinquent for that. Had the burglary case in here with me, 2014. We put him on structured probation. And what does he do? He steals a Honda SUV months before the accident where he stole another Honda SUV and he's driving it at 100 miles an hour. Right? Homeless and living out of cars. That's what this report says. This is what he tells. He stated that his mother put him out of the house to be with her boyfriend. And even before the juvenile cases, when he was in school, right, he was suspended numerous times for fighting and getting in trouble with the teachers. Right? Fighting with the teachers. The defendant reported that he was born to the relationship of Angela Watson and Thomas Smith. Sounds like they weren't married. He reported that he loves his mother. However, he doesn't like her and his siblings being put out of the house over a man. He stated that he does not like his father and that his father was not there for him. He stated that his father lied about allowing him to stay with the father. He described his childhood as okay until his mother's boyfriend, Robert Gordon, came into the picture. He was 10 years old at that time. He reported he receives no support from family and friends and that he is not satisfied with the level of support he receives. He stated, I don't care about them because they don't care about me. So, if you are asking yourself why we're here today, it's largely because of this criminal neglect on the part of the family of this kid right here. Now, it's been said, and I know it's popular, to say that, oh, that's okay, Judge. It takes a village to raise a child. But I have to tell you something. The village is the school. The village is the juvenile court. And when it gets to that point, it's often too late. Okay? And this is a problem in America that we don't want to talk about. It reminds me of like the 1950s and 60s when we all debated about does smoking cause cancer? Right? Well, we all know the answer to that question now. The tobacco representatives went to Congress and sat there and denied it. The evidence was there. So for those of you who think that abuse and abandonment and neglect don't lead to situations like this, you know what I say to you? Light up another cigarette. It's clear. It should be obvious. It's not appropriate for us to blame the schools because at that point it's often too late. And if these kids go from a school to a cockroach-infested home with no mother or father who cares for them, and they're living out of Honda Pilots and sleeping on the street, stuff like this is going to happen. Now, he is an adult. Okay? And he is going to pay the price. Okay? And he is ultimately responsible. But there are other people who bear some burden. And collectively, I think until we recognize this problem of abuse and abandonment and neglect of children, born out of wedlock often, 40% of the kids in this country die, that we all have collective responsibility. So, that is my message to the community. And I'm hoping it gets a little wider coverage because I'm tired of hearing often the parents who neglect their children blame the teacher, blame the social worker, blame the juvenile court, blame the trial court judge, right? If you don't intend to raise your children, you shouldn't have them. Just say no in a different way, right? But that message, that's not popular. And what I'm saying, I know it's not politically correct, and guess what? I don't care. Okay? We're here for truth today. That's the truth. As far as this court is concerned. And if you're searching for an answer, that's my answer. And unfortunately, we'll have more senseless tragedies like that because there are far too many kids in this community who are not properly parented. All right. Thomas, can you look at me? Thomas? Thank you. Would you concur or agree in my assessment? Can you speak? Can you at least... You agree with this? Is there anything you would like to say at this point? Is there anything you can say?
It's your last chance.
Then here is...
He's writing me that he can't talk and
Okay.
that he wants them to know how sorry he is.
Okay. I'm sure you are sorry, because what we should also know, the victims' family members and the victims who are present in the courtroom, is that since he's been in the Cuyahoga County Jail, he's been suicidal and attempted a couple of instances of suicide. And he is really emotionally a very troubled individual. You have to be seated. You have to be seated. Okay, thank you. This is obviously deeply affected him, and it will for the next 25 years, because you are sentenced in case number 596-819 to 7 years in count 1, 7 years in count 2, 7 years in count 3, 1 year in count 7, 1 year in count 8. In case number 594-035, you are sentenced to a year for receiving stolen property with a motor vehicle. And finally, you're on probation to the court in 588-693 on imposing the original term of incarceration of a year. All sentences are consecutive for a total of 25 years of imprisonment. Because it is necessary to protect the public, it's not disproportionate to the harm that he has caused. He committed this crime while he was on probation to this court. His criminal history indicates that consecutive terms are necessary to protect the public. No single sentence here would adequately reflect the seriousness of this defendant's conduct, because his harm has been so great to all of the victims and family members of the deceased. In terms of fine, fees, and costs, I'm not going to fine, fee, or cost him, because there's restitution owing to the victims in this case. And I want restitution to be satisfied first. That, of course, is merely a theoretical construct at this point, because he is going to prison and they won't have him. But to Tanya Wilson, the mother of DeMonta Wilson, he is owed $8,987 restitution. Right. On count 16, the DUI misdemeanor, he is sentenced to time served in the Cuyahoga County Jail. He is also stripped of his driving privileges for the rest of his life. He will never have a driver's license. I'm looking for the restitution amounts that are going. And I see that there's $700 restitution requested from Rochelle Smith. We'll order that. And if there are other $8,100 to Nancy Lawrence, $8,100 to the family members of the victim, James Cockrell. And if there are other restitution amounts owing, the court will be advised. We'll put that in the sentencing entry. Thomas, I have become apprised of your psychiatric situation. Okay? And I'd like to share a few thoughts with you. Okay? You are 19. So that means that you live in the prison system until the age of 44. You will be released. And I say living in the prison system is not that easy because the health care that prisoners receive is inadequate. Okay. Now, we're going to order psychiatric evaluation once he goes to the institution, suicide prevention, and medication as prescribed by the psychiatrist at the Cuyahoga County Jail to stabilize you, okay? There is nothing that you or I or anybody can do to ameliorate this tragedy. It happened, and there's nothing we can do. But you going forward have some decisions to make. You can go down to prison and give up, or you can go down to prison and attempt to make something of your life by first getting your GED and maybe gaining wisdom to obtaining a college degree so that you can educate yourself, so that hopefully you'll have a life at some point down the road. So I hope that you do the positive thing, because there is no future in your past. And in large part, I think the reason you're here today is because, like you, like so many kids on the street, are hopeless and have no guidance. So you will be provided an opportunity. I hope you use it to the very best of your ability. In the past, you've been unwilling to take psychotropic drugs. In the past, you've been unwilling to listen to counselors and psychiatrists. I hope that you will have an open mind. I know that some of the people that were killed and injured were very close friends of yours, your best friend, right? Is that right? So this may sound strange, but as some kind of respect to your friends that you lost in this accident, you should go forward and do something positive and still be a negative influence on society if you have been in the past. So that's the best I can do with this senseless tragedy on this sad Monday morning. Are there any other issues that we need to address on behalf of the council?
No, Your Honor.
On behalf of the prosecution?
Your Honor, 5 years mandatory post-release control.
Right, thank you very much. You've released from the institution. And by the way, I want everybody in the courtroom to please be respectful and calm down. If you can't be respectful and calm down, we'll give you the opportunity right now. But if there's any outburst by anybody, you're going to be sharing the jail cell right next to this guy for a while. I promise you. Because everybody's got to be respectful. We've all suffered with this. We've all suffered with this. Okay? When released from the institution, you begin 5 years of post-release control. Your failure to comply could result in further administrative time, which in your case would be 12.5 years, or an additional criminal charge such as escape. So I hope you do the right thing going forward, and everybody else will go over and see. Okay, with that, he's remanded to the Cuyahoga County Jail. And we are adjourned. Thank you all very much.